I put a spell on you, and now you're gone. Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome back to Smart Cookie. We are gonna make a pumpkin spooky cheesecake today. That's right, it's pumpkin cheesecake. We're gonna make it a little spooky with a spider web on top. First things first, we gotta make our cookie crust for our cheesecake. Now, you could go traditional graham cracker, but we're gonna spice it up a little bit and we're gonna use ginger snaps. Like me, I'm a ginger snap too. I'll see myself out. This is specifically 48 ginger snap cookies. Now, if you don't wanna count them, that's fine. I'll tell you that it's basically like 2/3 of a box. I've also got some pecans, about a 1/2 cup of pecan pieces that are going in the crust. If you don't like nuts, don't put them in there. And finally, we got butter from 2 different vessels. It's fine. So that's it. It's super simple. It's just those 3 ingredients. Just salted butter, ginger snap cookies, and some pecans. You don't want this to be totally wet, but it should absolutely look like wet sand. I've got a 10-inch springform pan that I have already pre-wrapped in foil. Now I'm doing this because we're gonna be baking our cheesecake in a water bath this afternoon, and the foil is gonna help us make sure that no water leaks in. So I've got a springform pan. I have a springform pan that I have sprayed with Pam, and now we're gonna put some cookies in there. We are just gonna press the cookies into the bottom of our springform pan and up the sides just a little bit, maybe 1 inch up the sides, but not all the way up. Your cookie crust is definitely not going to be the entire thickness of your cake. It'll go up about halfway. I love Halloween, but I don't know what I'm gonna be for Halloween yet. Ooh, I'll ask the internet, what should I be for Halloween? Tell me, please. I mean, seriously, I've been trying to figure out how to be Adele for years, but I just feel like I would have to make like a million kind of like Grammy Awards, and then I'd have to go around like singing at people, which I do anyway. Oh yeah, I guess I could be a smart cookie. I dress up as a cookie and then carry around like a diploma. Or like a mortarboard hat. Yeah. See? Let's do it. Here we go. We got 4 blocks of cream cheese. And we got some sugar. Okay, a very, very, very important note from the cookie to you. It is of utmost importance that your eggs and your cream cheese be at room temp. These need to sit out for at least an hour. This not only affects your texture, but it also affects how long you have to bake your cheesecake, which in turn affects whether or not your cheesecake is gonna crack in the middle. Crack is whack. So we got 4 blocks of cream cheese and we've got some sugar. We are gonna let this go for about 3 minutes or so. We just want this to get kind of light and fluffy, and then we're gonna start adding our eggs. So this is starting to go. We're gonna go ahead and get our crust out of the oven, which is perfect timing. Yum. All you're looking for with the crust is just that the edges have started to brown a little bit. We're just gonna let that cool while we're working on this. Smart cookie, fact of the day. Where does cheesecake come from? I bet you're wondering. I am sure that you think it comes from the Italians. No, actually cheesecake comes from ancient Greece. Seriously, the original cheesecakes were made with a cheese kind of similar to ricotta, and there's actually documentation that suggests that the athletes in the very first Olympics were fed cheesecake as like an energy food. So don't feel bad about eating cheesecake because it's good for athletes. First egg. All right, so we're just gonna let this mix. Now, another thing I'm gonna tell you, unlike with some other recipes where you really wanna whip a bunch of air into this, for this, we're just gonna turn the mixer on long enough so that the egg is combined. Then we're gonna stop, we're gonna scrape down the sides of our bowl, and then we'll add our next egg. Another reason a cheesecake, Australian. Another reason a cheesecake sometimes will crack is if you've overbeaten your eggs. So you have to be really conscious that you're being gentle with this batter, because if it gets overbeaten, there's too much air, and then you're gonna end up with a cheesecake that's got a crack down the middle. Nobody likes that. done. Now we're just gonna add a little vanilla. What you're looking for with your cheesecake batter is for it to be super smooth, no lumps, no bumps. Now that we've got our vanilla cheesecake base, now we're going to transfer half of this into another bowl. I'm just gonna guesstimate this. We're not being exact about it. Seems about right. We've got some of this reserved, and now we're gonna make our pumpkin cheesecake. So I've got 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Make sure you're not getting the pumpkin puree that already has the spices mixed in. You wanna add those yourself. So we're gonna put our 1 cup of pumpkin spice. Everybody loves pumpkin spice. Now look, if you're over the pumpkin spice trend, I hear you. Don't call me, call McCormick brand, who invented the pumpkin pie spice in 1934. Ding! I don't wanna mix this too much and add too much other air, so now that we have our 2 batters, we're ready to start going into the crust. So I'm gonna move these bowls in the mixer out of the way, and then we'll move on to that. All right, here we go. This guy's been cooling, he's been chilling. So before I put my vanilla base into our pie crust, I wanna reserve some of this, because this is what we're gonna use to make our spiderweb design later. I'm just using a regular old Ziploc baggie, and we're just gonna add a little bit in there. We don't really need very much for this. So, just gonna reserve that. Your layers are gonna go vanilla, then we're gonna do pumpkin, and then we're gonna put our spiderweb on top. So, in we go. All right, we're just gonna evenly spread our vanilla out into an even layer, and then we're gonna pour in our pumpkin. So I'm just gonna very gently spread this out into an even layer. Now comes the fun part. All right, we're back with our cheesecake batter that we reserved. I'm just gonna cut a small hole in the tip of this, and we're gonna pipe 5 concentric circles. Great. You piped your circles. You can use, if you don't own an offset, you could totally just use a butter knife. But all we're gonna do at this point is we're gonna drag our offset through these lines that we've made, and that's what's gonna form the spider web. And I'm gonna do it kind of in the pattern where I would cut a slice of cheesecake, which will help us when we get ready to slice. And I like to wipe my knife off in between each one. Great! See? We made a spider web! Yay! All right, so we're just gonna put our whole cheesecake. You're gonna wanna move it pretty gently, because any kind of rocking back and forth is gonna move your design. Ooh. Just carefully, I'm going from to the edge of this pan, trying to stay as far away from my cheesecake as possible. You're gonna need between 6 and 8 cups of water probably. So now, carefully, ever so carefully, we're gonna transfer this whole thing with the water and the cheesecake to an oven. We did it! All right, so our cheesecake has been baking for about 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's done, it looks awesome. And the next step is actually, we're just gonna turn our oven off and we're gonna prop the door open by about 4 inches and let the cheesecake and the oven cool at the same time. And then the next step, we're gonna take it out of its water bath, let it cool on the countertop for a half hour, and then it goes in the fridge overnight. So it's gonna be a hot second before you can eat it. It's our cheesecake, yay! All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna go around the edge, just use a knife to make sure that nothing is sticking. Yes! There it is, it's a cheesecake, yeah. Yes, that's a good looking cheesecake. Let's take a bite. Yes, I really love this recipe. I think that it is such a solid cheesecake recipe. And if you are not super on board with the pumpkin spice train, I think that this might change your mind. I mean, it's there, but it's not overpowering. And the pumpkin's actually really nice. I mean, the texture of this is exactly what you want out of a cheesecake. It's rich, it's dense, it's flavorful, and that crust brings it home with the ginger snap. I mean, it just totally complements the pumpkin pie spice. So I think it's a Halloween winner. Maybe that's what I should be for Halloween. Should I just be a cheesecake? That's a good idea. Ooh, or I could dress up as a jar of pumpkin spice. Should I be like a spice girl, but a pumpkin spice girl? Holy crap, I think I've stumbled on it. Yep, I gotta work on that, but I think that's it. I think that's the winner.